So you seem to do a lot right for a long time, but just couldn't sustain it. Is that a fair assessment? Or?
Yeah, I think they beat us in the contest over the duration of the game. And strangely enough, I think next year probably looking at their side and say, gee, we gave the ball back to the Kangaroos a bit and we did the same to them. And I think the difference in the game, outside the fact that I think they beat us in the contest in crucial moments, but when both sides were turning over the ball so much through the middle of the ground, they were able to capitalise on their turnovers better than us, and they put that scoreboard pressure on us. Whereas when we got an opportunity to have the open play ourselves, we just found a way to muck up a handball or muck up a kick that didn't allow us to be able to convert that turnover chance, because some of them were really open plays. And the ease with which Adelaide got theirs on the flip side of that was probably the difference in the game. But as I said, I think Adelaide was superior in the contest for the day. They were just tougher, cleaner and harder than us around contests, and that was stuff we prided ourselves on last week against Melbourne, and we just couldn't replicate that same type of polish and endeavour in that part of the game. And that's, when you're just slightly off in that area or you drop your guard in that space to the opposition, that's enough to turn it into the margin that it was today.
Is that part of still having quite a young team, young players there, where you have the highs of last week, that you can have a bit of a lull in that area the next following week?
Yeah, quite possibly. We don't want to use that as an out. They were able to produce it last week, so our expectation is that over the careers they get more experience, they probably get better at being able to even out the good performances with the not so good. But bottom line is Adelaide in that space were just a little bit more consistent and more polished than us, cleaner with the footy on their opportunities, and they applied good pressure around the footy, and that's why they're undefeated to date. Difficult to beat them at this ground, and we came ready for the contest and we fought hard. They got away to a start. We pulled that back by quarter time to within a goal. By the 20-minute mark of the third quarter, we'd pulled it back to another goal, and then they scored 3 or 4 easy goals in the last part of the third quarter to not make it impossible for us to win, but it's hard to try and chase down Adelaide at home with a 5-goal deficit at three-quarter time. So that last 5 or 8 minutes of the third quarter is really costly for us.
How did you think your key defenders went, but especially against they've got the three-headed monster, Walker, Thilthorpe and Fogarty, and you had Comden maybe trying to play a bit spare at times. How do you think the key defenders went for you?
Yeah, well, I thought they held up okay considering the amount of supply. That was the other part of the game. Because of the quality of the Adelaide forward line, as you said, they've got good talls and they've got capable smalls at ground level. If you give them a supply of 55 or thereabouts inside 50s, then they're probably going to cause some damage. So that's what I'm saying around the midfield battle. They're a little bit more polished than us. They capitalised on turnover because of the quality of the forwards that they've got and the connection that they have with their mids, and that was the part of the game that they were a little bit better. I thought our guys battled manfully under duress down there. I thought Pink did a pretty good job. He was on Walker for most of the day, and different stages he acquitted himself really well in that contest. But Texas still kicked 4 just because ultimately the supply comes in that often that it becomes a little bit overwhelming, and eventually he's going to get his hands on a couple who give him a chance to score.
Your attack, Alastair, obviously got lucky there as the focal point, but can you sense that you're developing more options now? You had a couple of lively performances today? Or
as I said, we just had open plays on turnover through the middle of the ground that we would have liked to have found a way to just change the angle of the ball or just get ourselves into space, and we went too straight and too skinny on some of those turnover opportunities that we had, which invited the pressure from Adelaide. To their credit, they provided the frontal pressure that they needed to, but we invited it by not taking the ball off the line on turnover, and whereas they were able to find that switch of play, and then you've got open grass and forwards that can lead up with the ball, that ended up being the difference in the game.
What do you make of Harry's game today, and when he is a bit quieter like that for most of the game, how do you kind of get him more into the game, given he's such a good ball user?
Yeah, he hasn't been as good as he perhaps like, but still getting the ball in his hands a bit. We moved him to half back in the last part of the game, and that helped us with some of our rebound and getting the ball out from our back end. But obviously he can play several positions: half forward, midfield, and half back, and we'll play him where he can have the biggest influence. And by his standards, he's been a little bit quieter at the start of his year than he'd like, but I know he's a pro. He'll get himself going pretty soon.
And Paul Curtis, obviously such an important player for you for. I think he had a couple of times where he maybe gave away a couple of 50-metre penalties. You have to kind of work on that with him during the week,
they're tough, it's just a flip of a coin which way that free kick goes. Is that too high or is it holding the ball? And just the frustration of players in the moment. The young player, hope he gets better in that space, but they're competing really hard for the footy, and he gets high contact and he thinks the free kick's going to be his, and then sees the umpire call it the other way. So just frustration. But hopefully, as a young player, he'll learn from those experiences and get better going forward.
It must be nice seeing Jacob's game today. Guys come in from Sydney, kick a couple of goals for you guys up. How they do it?
Yeah, he's been a real live wire for us in the front end of the ground. His tackle pressure and the last couple of weeks he's been able to hit the scoreboard too, which is pleasing. So that makes him a dangerous commodity, that he can apply pressure and occasionally snag a goal for us. So we've been really pleased with the contribution he's made up front for us.
Is Tristan okay?
He was just a bit. He had an awareness from stretching out of a ruck contest, and he came to get assessed, but docs assessed him to be fine. He ended up playing the rest of the game, so he should be okay. Good on you guys. Thank you.